Mic check 1 2 1 2 1 2. How we sound, Doc?
They sound pretty good.
How we sound, Doc? We good to go?
Sounds good.
Listen, Doc. I know you got a little bit of time, but first and foremost, I want to welcome you to the Taking Over the World podcast for all the viewers out here. I'm here with I don't even know how to describe you, Doc. Friend, boss, leader.
Yeah.
I'm here with the current
There you go.
Delaware State University, the 10th president,
Right.
Dr. Harry L. Williams.
Thank you, Blake. Man, I love you. I just love you, man. You're great for Delaware State. You're great for this community, and we're just so happy that you're here with us today. So I'm all yours.
Man, listen, first of all, I appreciate you granting me this interview. It's so funny because we talked about and I thought about this idea for the podcast, and I wanted to work with something with alumni. DSU just kind of to spearhead some things to get some alumni on the podcast.
Right.
And then I talked to you at the game, and he was like, yeah, whatever you need, Blake, whatever you need. Yeah, I know you have always been supportive of me, even when you're out like, Blake is this and boom, boom.
Right.
But for you to grant me this opportunity for the interview, and then you stated, well, then we found out it was the next day. If you guys don't know by now, Dr. Harry Williams has been. Tell the people what happened.
Well, you could tell Blake. You know how to jazz it out.
Well, the news came out. It was so funny. Who sent it to me? It was on Facebook immediately. It was fast because it was big news that Dr. Harry L. Williams will be resigning as the 10th president of Delaware State University to pursue the next ticket over the world for himself and being the president and CEO of the Thurgood Marshall College Fund.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
That's
pretty
huge.
wild. It's amazing. Yes, it is big. And it says a lot about Delaware State because the Thurgood Marshall College Fund is the world's biggest fund that's designated specifically to support 47 public HBCUs, and Delaware State is a part of that. And the 47 public HBCUs have more than 300,000 students, and 80% of the students attending HBCUs, they attend the public HBCUs. So my job here as president and CEO of Thurgood Marshall will be to advocate, represent, raise funds to support those institutions. So it is really, really big, and to have this honor to be given this opportunity is a blessing, but a lot of it I attribute directly to the work that we've done these last 7 years here at Delaware State, because we've made a tremendous amount of progress, and I've always said people are always watching you, and they're watching what you're doing, and as you know, Delaware State is rising, and part of that rising is a lot of the positive things that take place on campus. So to be recognized at a national level and to say now we want to expand some of the things that we've done here at Delaware State and expand it literally all over the United States is pretty amazing.
Listen, you talked about the work that has been done here. I mean, you have been very instrumental in just the change here at Delaware State University. I always mention it to you. I always like, we started at Del State at the same time, went to the same orientation. It was just me and you back in 2007.
Yeah, 2007.
Same orientation.
2007.
I was admissions counselor.
Yeah,
you were coming at the provost at the time.
Right.
2 years later, you're the president, and
Right.
you have done phenomenal things. See, I have watched you from the beginning. So as an alumni of Delaware State University, as a resident of Delaware, and to see where Delaware State used to be and to where it is now, is tremendous.
Yeah.
And I think we Delaware residents, alumni, anybody here at the university owes a lot to you. I mean, you have done, if we can go off the list, you want to go off the list of some things you did. You took us to top 10 HBCU in the country.
Yeah, we've had a lot of fun, I tell you. And within this past decade, you can just look at the things that has literally been a transformation for Delaware State. And we have been able to attract students from all over the world coming here. Now, we had students from different parts of the world when I arrived here on campus, but one of the things we took a very strategic approach is tapping into the Asian population. We've been able to expand the number of Asian students here on our campus. We've also expanded the number of international partnerships here on our campus. We've also worked with major funding agencies. We attracted the attention of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which is the largest foundation in the world for all foundations, and for them to say, hey, I want to see what's going on at Delaware State is pretty remarkable. And we were able to attract their attention, and we are working on a major project there that's designed to help students persist and graduate from institutions from Delaware State in 4 years or less. So those are the things that I'm really proud of, and those are the things that I will continue to talk about even in this new role that I'm embarking on.
It's so funny that you mentioned it, even the Bill Gates and Linda Foundation. Like I said, I've been watching, and one thing about you, I see one of your great attributes is you're great at polying. You know what I mean? Like, you know how to work a room, you know how to politic, as they call poly. Right. But I always think that you're still true to who you are, which is tremendous for you. But you're very great at raising money. Right. How much of that had anything to do with Thurgood Marshall saying, hey, this is the guy we want?
It had a lot to do with it, because that's what Thurgood Marshall is all about. And it's all about raising funds for HBCU students, but it's also about working with HBCU students in developing and supporting them in securing jobs. And we are an organization where talent comes out of our organization, where we identify students to go and work at Apple, to go and work in the Fortune 500 companies. And these are students from all the HBCU communities, including Delaware State here. So therefore, it also works with the K-12 population in developing a pipeline. Those are some pretty impressive things that Thurgood Marshall College Fund is engaged in. But at the end of the day, it's about raising funds to support our students and support our institutions in a meaningful way. So I'm really excited about moving to your hometown of Washington, D.C.
Oh, that's not my hometown.
Well, I saw you on the streets of Washington, D.C., so I assume you were from Washington. I was driving down, minding my own business, and you blowing the horn down the street. So.
That's a true story. That's a true story.
Saw you twice.
Twice.
One time I was eating, I think it was at some restaurant. You were walking down the street.
That is funny. That is hilarious. For y'all who don't know, it's a true story. And I was actually living in D.C. for about 2 years. Yeah. And I was driving down Florida Ave, and I just see Dr. Williams in my. It's so funny that people always talk about energy. I always say you can sense it. Like, it's some sixth sense that I don't even know. And something just said, look left. Yeah. And I look left, and I see you and Madam First Lady. I call her Madam First Lady. Yeah. And I just burping the horn at you. I think you were in D.C. because your son is at Howard University.
Yeah, he's at Howard. So we were down there visiting. So and it was good seeing you down there. I can't go anywhere without showing up.
I think honestly, we're connected for life from now on out.
We are.
From now on life.
We are.
From now on life. From now on life. But you talked about support. Now I'm gonna get maybe on a personal level, outside of the business. You have your family.
Right.
You have your 2 sons. You have your lovely wife. How much of Gavin's the youngest.
Right.
Gavin's the youngest. He's a senior in high school.
He's a senior in high school, right.
How much of Gavin being a senior in high school have any effect on when you? Because honestly, I'll be honest, I knew you wasn't going to stay at Delaware State University forever. Right. You're just that good. I mean, it just comes with the territory. Right. Somebody who's good, you got to hold on as much for as long as you can. You can't marry you. You did that with Miss Williams. You was like, I'm marrying you. The best thing I'm going to get. Right. How much of that had any influence in when you were leaving Delaware State University?
Well, it had a influence in it, as you probably can imagine. Yeah, it's a really good question, because you never want to make any big transitions when your kids are in high school, because once they get in high school, they have their friends, they have their network and people that they're connected to, and Delaware has been great to us. And when we moved here, we transitioned. Austin, my youngest, had just graduated from the 8th grade, so he was going to high school, so it made sense to move. And then Gavin was moving into elementary school, so that was a nice move. So when we moved here 10 years ago, literally, they were babies. And I mean, Austin's going into high school and Gavin going to elementary school. Now we got him out of Austin, graduated, went on to Washington, D.C. at Howard, and he's ready to graduate from Howard. And Gavin is ready to graduate from Dover High School. So if you look at him from the standpoint of timing, it's pretty good timing. But I couldn't predict that the position was going to open up, so I didn't know. I didn't know that what was going to happen. I'm very happy here at Delaware State because this is my family. The people here we have connected. One of the things that we've been able to do that's been supported in a positive way is developing all these friends we have, and I call it friend raising. And those friends are the ones who look out for you. And so we have a lot of friends. From the governor being one of our biggest supporters from our congressional delegation, all the state legislators, and those are the people you want to like you because they support you in a positive way to support the institution to move forward. So when in thinking about a sequence of when, because you want to, if you look at where we are right now and where we started, I feel like Delaware State is stronger, and that now, if you're going to leave, this is a time to leave when you're on top. If you want to look at it from that perspective, because we had
gonna fall?
No. But you know how it is. But you can pass the baton on. I mean, I was 10th president of the university, and I look at it like a track race, a baton race, a relay. If you pass the relay to the next person, to the baton to the next person to keep moving. And that's what we have to do here. We're going to pass it on to someone else to run that 400-meter dash, and they got to run it real fast, because if you don't run it real fast, you could fall behind, and we don't want that here at Delaware State. So I believe I've gotten to the finish line. I'm passing it on. I'm going to pass it on to someone else, and look forward to see what they're going to do in terms of continuing to move it forward like we've been able to do this past 10 years.
Are you passing the baton to me?
Well, I can pass it on. Well, the Board of Trustees got to decide who they're going to pass it on to.
Now, here's something. Now, one thing about
that was a good question. Why are you doing that question? Man, that was
a good question. I got another good question for you. Right? Listen, Doc. And when you granted me this interview, I gotta take full advantage of it. And that's what life's about, taking full advantage of opportunities. Right. And I already know this is going to be big. I think it's going to be huge. Okay, not like that, president. And it's a chance for people to see who you are, right. For people who don't know you. But I do know one thing, being an alumni, being always around Delaware State University, you always hear like the rumors and the rumbling and all of that stuff. Now, before Thurgood Marshall came around with some rumor that, Winston Salem State wanted you. Right? They was like, Dr. Williams is going to Winston Salem State University. He's going back to North Carolina, the grassroots. And when I heard that rumor, I was like, I'm not mad at why wouldn't they want Dr. Williams? Right. Was that rumor true? Was they trying to come get you? Are you allowed to speak on that? It's okay. You leave it. It's okay.
Yeah. Well, it was true. So I was one of the candidates. I was one of the individuals that was approached, and I went through and had a conversation. But after having that conversation, I realized that it wasn't time. It wasn't time to continue to pursue that. And you're right. I'm from North Carolina, and I think a lot of people here, they were speculating, thinking that when the move would occur, that's where I would go, back to North Carolina. And because anytime a position would open up in North Carolina, automatically my name would start popping up as a possibility. This recent search at the North Carolina Central search just opened up.
Central got a president opening?
They had it. They just finished it. They named someone in that role, and there was speculation there, but I didn't pursue any of that because we're in a good place here. But sometimes the great thing about Thurgood Marshall is that I'm leaving the university and I'm not going to another university. Sometimes people take offense to that. If you're going to go to another institution, so what's wrong with our institution? And by going to the foundation, it's going to a whole nother level. And you go from working with students on a daily basis to working in almost like a system office, like where you're working with 47 presidents and helping them and supporting them in their mission to help educate our students. So that's a whole different level from that perspective. So yeah.
That's good stuff. Now, Doc, this even transforming it over to, like I said, you got your children. A lot of stuff played a role into you making that decision to say, "Oh, this is the time."
Right.
Always look at Dr. Miss Williams, and I say that is a strong, supportive
absolutely.
Black woman right there.
Right, yeah.
How important has she, you don't understand, apologize for anybody, this is not, but they always say around every strong black man is a strong black woman.
Right.
How important has Madam First Lady, Dr. Williams, been in your success?
Very, very. I mean, we've been married now 25 years, and we've been in this journey together. And whenever we make a move, it's a decision that we make together. When I decided to come to Delaware, she was actually working at North Carolina Central and working as an associate dean there, and she said, well, go up there as the provost and try it. But I'm not moving now, because you got to go and try it first, and then if it works out, then we would come and move. And then right before the presidency here opened up, we were contemplating on what was going to be, if I was going to stay here, if I was going to come back. And I said, we had a family meeting, and she said, well, we need to move to Delaware. And so the boys and we all agreed, and then the presidency opened up and I were able to get that, and that worked out very, very well. But we were committed to pursuing it. So your partner is very important in this, because whenever you make these type of decisions, it's not your decision, it's a complete family decision. So you can't say enough about that. And so you're right, and because she could easily be a president in her own right. And so you kind of balance all that out, because you can't split the family. You want to keep the family together when you can. So that's a positive thing.
So you're saying that when you came at Provost, you knew you was going to be the president?
No, I didn't know I was going to be. I was hoping. I was hoping, because that was the plan. I mean, that wasn't my goal, and I haven't shied away from that, was to be a college president at HBCU. And typically if you get a provost job, that's the next step to that process. So when I interviewed, I shared with the community, I said, this is not my ultimate goal to be the provost here. I said, I want to be a provost because it's going to help me get to be a president. And so, and I was transparent on that. And so when the presidency opened, I was like, yay.
What's up? Look at your boy. Holla at me.
But I still had to do some work to prove that I was a person, because it was a very competitive search. Like this one that we're going to open now, we're going to have people from all over going to be applying. I can't even tell you the number of people who sent me emails already asking me about the process and about what's going to happen and everything. People who are interested in coming here, because this is probably, one of the best HBC jobs in America. If you look at it and look at all of our HBCU schools, and you look at their financial infrastructure, look at their enrollment, you look at their support that they receive, not only internally but externally, Delaware State is right up there in the top. And so that is someone who's got some skills and some talent would want to be in an organization like that, because you're not spending a lot of your energy trying to build that up. We've got that built in. Now what you do, you build on what we already have, so you can magnify and increase what you have.
Now I know we ain't gonna get into much of the search, because I know right now the provost that we do have is Mr. Tony Allen.
Right.
And I grew up in Wilmington. I watched Tony Allen. I said watch it like I was like an adult watching. But I seen he used to work with Norman Future Stars when I was a little kid.
Okay.
And I know Tony.
Okay.
I always know him from afar, but we interacted maybe once or two. But he probably just thought I was like a little kid from around the way, just at the third. And to see what he's doing, and now to see him here at Delaware State University, I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if he becomes president. Well, I think he would make a great president.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, I really do, because I agree with you. I think Dr. Allen, he's got what it takes to be a president. I mean, he's been very clear on his aspirations too, that he would like to be a president of an HBCU, and he when he accepted the job, he made it very clear to me. So I'm praying that he will be able to go through this process, and that the board would see it. He's got my full support from that perspective. But ultimately, it's the board decision, and so I'm confident the board will make a wise decision in terms of getting the best person for Delaware State University. And sometimes we get into the situation where we think the best is somewhere else, and it could be right under your nose, and you just never know. But sometimes you do go out and bring someone in. like they brought me in. So, and which was, and I've made Delaware my home pretty much. So I know it's hard to be a Delawarean. I know it's real hard.
No, it ain't.
Yes, it is. It is. I mean, it's tough. It's tough.
It's not
People take that Delawarean stuff serious, man. I had to work hard 10 years just for not being a new person anymore.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're right. I mean, your family here at Delaware, like you said,
right.
Carper and all those guys, you just foster those relationships greatly. And just in the community, I think, and that's why the students like you here at Delaware State University, even when, from 2000, even when you were the provost,
right.
people seen that you cared.
Right.
And you had charismatic personality, you really cared. Like, even when my new intern, you was asking her questions, where's class? You telling you that class, and that type of thing. And that lets students know that you care about them. Yeah. And that's one of your great attributes. And definitely commend you on that. For always doing that, always being supportive of the students. I seen it, and you could tell when something is authentic. Right, it was genuine. It's always been genuine. You were really good at that. Yeah. And I want to dive into some of the good times and bad times here at Delaware State University. Just your experience, right? And I want to start with the biggest news that happened, probably since your tenure, was when they had the shootings on campus. Yeah. And it was after like Virginia Tech, and it was huge. It was on CNN. Right. And you seen on Route 13, he had like 50,000 camera crews. It was on CNN. Yeah. But more importantly, you have kids who were affected. Right. And the young lady who passed away because of that shooting. What was going through your head during those times? Like, as the president of the university, you care about the family, and then you care about the university. How did you just articulate that situation? Like, what was going on through your head? Well, and having kids of your own.
Yeah. Well, when that occurred, I wasn't here. I was actually watching it from afar because that was in 2006, wasn't it? 2005.
You wasn't here at the president yet?
No, I wasn't here.
I thought you was the president by then.
No. We had a shooting here. I think it was 2015 when we had the field day activity. Remember that? When we had a field day. Yeah. And 3 people got shot then. And unfortunately, no one died in that situation. But, in reference to what the tragedy that happened back in 2005, I believe, it was tragic because it was the first time a campus had to institute the new policy after Virginia Tech, because Virginia Tech had just several students and faculty had been killed in a mass shooting there on that campus. And so when this occurred, it became national news and see how the system would work, because I watched it and I followed it closely, and it was tough. And then I transitioned after that, and one of the things that we had to do was rebuild and rebrand Delaware State in terms of making people feel safe on the campus, because you want to make sure that people understand that. And then our police officers worked really hard to make students feel comfortable. So we had it when we had that shooting after the field day. It was similar to what you said. We had we had probably 2,000 students on campus. We had the state police was flying over, helicopters were flying, but our students were great. I mean, they went back to their dorms in an orderly fashion. The police didn't get out of control. The chief of police did a great job. But the campus community, as a president, your responsibility, number one, is to make sure everybody realize that this is under control and that we're safe. So we use this room right here as the command post. And when it occurred, I assembled a team. We had a risk management team consisting of our senior leaders, and making sure we were managing that process in a way that would demonstrate that the university's got it under control. And that was important. And then the next day, which was Sunday, we had the campus on lockdown. And then Monday, we opened the campus back up. And it was important for me to be seen visibly on that day. So I purposely walked all over campus, walked around on campus, because I wanted people to know that this is a safe place, and I have no fear walking in around campus. And then we had a town hall that night. And that town hall brought in about 1,000 students. And again, it was emphasizing that this is a safe place, that, and I said it very publicly, that I'll walk on this campus anytime, day or night, and not be afraid, because this is a safe community. And once we did that, it kind of calmed things down. We were able to manage that because it was a critical time. It was when students were getting ready to decide on whether or not they were going to come to schools, like in May, as we had to make a commitment. So we had to make sure we were communicating with parents, we were communicating with students in a quickly, timely fashion, and that helps tremendously. And we didn't see a dip in our enrollment because parents trust the leadership and that we were doing what was right.
That's what's up. And even like you said, even on go to a brighter side of the university. You came here, enrollment's up 22% since you came. Like you said, you fostered relationships over with the Asian students. I mean, just the studying abroad, Delaware State University, going to China, that type of thing. Yeah. And I remember even the enrollment is up. Yeah. You set a record with enrollment as far as students coming here at Delaware State University, which is a high. But I want to know, what is your favorite moment here at Delaware State University? Well, I tell you, if I'm gonna be serious, and I'm not saying this just because you're on the show. I think the things that you have done, and one of the things that you stop hiding me out. No, I'm serious. I'm dead serious, because one of the things I wanted our basketball games and our football games to be a place where people would want to come for entertainment, and as a place, even though I want people from the community to say, I want to be there, and I want it to be an event, and you have created that. I mean, people look forward to going to the game knowing and wanting to watch you and watch what you have been able to create in that atmosphere, and that made it, to me, it made it feel good. Because when I went to an NBA game, and as you know, when you go to those games, there's always something going on, but you got to have the right personality to be able to manage that, and you've been able to do that in a way that it's been transformational to Delaware State. We miss you at homecoming. Homecoming was boring at the football game because you weren't there. Listen, I'm serious. We had to work. I said, "Where's Blake?" And they were trying to play the music, but it wasn't the same. So I want you to know, you have, with your magic, and I know you can't do this forever, but your magic of engaging students, engaging alumni, engaging people who not even connected to Delaware State, and then you make them feel connected is very remarkable. I get emails from people talking about it. I forward them to you, but I didn't want to blow your head up because you don't get a big head, but I do get emails from people. But those are people who we need to build those relationships with. You know what I mean? But these are people talking about you, talking about your energy, because you bring energy to the place, and when you bring energy, that'll get more energy. I mean, we won that football game because of you. Okay, we won that football game. we had you talking about some of the worst times. I mean, we had the football is very important to our university, as you know. Absolutely. And winning is very important. I like to win. But when you have a losing streak, and I think we had the nation's longest losing streak, and when we won last Saturday, and you predicted it, and I always get nervous when you predict that we're going to win a game. I felt that. I said, listen, on the first drive when he got the ball, I said, we're going to score. And I don't like to make those predictions either. I said, we're going to score a touchdown on the first drive. We scored a touchdown on the first drive. Right. When I said we're going to win, this was funny. I interviewed you right on camera. I put Dr. Williams on spot. I said, listen, we're going to win this game in front of all the people, coaches on the field. He's like, I pray. And you said, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. And we pulled it out. And it was good. Didn't it feel good? It felt real good. Yeah, when you win, it feels, and you also got this thing that you say, is that we always, there's a song that you used to say, all we do is win. We ain't played that in a while, but no shade. And it was so, and I greatly appreciate that, and that's something that I'm being honest that I wanted to build here at Delaware State University, and I've been trying to get the administration to kind of see that. You know what I mean? I know it was kind of tough, but I've been breaking down some barriers, and that started from even when we first came in as admissions. Right. I had some ideas, and they were like, because I kind of seen where things were going. Like I see the way things are going now, And I'm trying to be that bridge that can
Right.
connect the administration with the students and the alumni.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just fostering those relationships with folks.
Well, you do a good job at orientation, getting the parents up and trying to get them excited about being
Orientation
here.
is so huge.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm telling the administration,
Yeah.
let's get them from the beginning.
Right.
Let's think about it. We want to build, we want to raise money, we want
Right.
to get the alumni base, give them to give back. And the best way to get them is to get them when they first come as a freshman.
Right.
And orientation is the first chance
Right.
you get to get them,
Right.
them and the parents.
Right, right.
And I tell most alumni give back based on their experience even as a student.
Yeah.
And their experience as a student starts from the first time they come on campus, which
Absolutely.
is orientation. So
Absolutely.
I'm like, let me get them right then, and let me have them the whole year.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? Let me work with them. That's a whole different story. You know what I mean? You're gonna come in. That's neither here nor there. But we're here to talk about you, Dr. Williams.
Now my time is running out.
I know. I got
Yeah.
you for maybe two more questions.
Okay.
Two more questions. Is that okay?
Yeah.
And for the people who don't know, you've been voted top 10 most influential HBCU presidents this year. You're going on Thurgood Marshall. You're gonna do big things. What is this? And matter of fact, I'll leave this as the last question. 5 years from now, looking back, you're at Thurgood Marshall, pretty sure probably. What is the legacy? And most of the time, you don't understand the legacy. You might not see the legacy that you left until 5-10 years later. 5 years from now, what is the legacy that you would have want to have left behind when you look back 5 years from now? From your tenure at Delaware State University.
Delaware State. If I look back, I would like to see our graduation and retention rate sustaining itself and consistently improving every year. We have put in place some strategic strategies to improve retention and graduation numbers, and we have been able to see those numbers move forward from a metric perspective in a positive way. And we have more students graduating. We have more students graduating in a timely manner. We have been able to raise more dollars to support them. We've had the state to support us with the Inspire Scholarship. The Inspire Scholarship is a legacy within itself, because that is a law that's on the books, and the only time that can change is if they have to go in and the legislature would have to go in and change it. And that's very, very, very hard to do, just like it's very, very hard to get a law that's going to say scholarship dollars are going to come to school for pretty much as long as the school is here, unless they have some really, really bad times in the state and they have to look at cutting. But I don't see that happening. I see more Delaware kids graduating. I want to see the kids from the early college, high school that we started. I want to see the seniors graduating. I want to see anywhere from 75 to 80% of those kids matriculating to Delaware State. I want to look back and see that. And to me, if I look back and see that, that means sustainability for Delaware State. That means that Delaware State is still solid. That Delaware State is still making a major impact in the state of Delaware and in the region, and it's still the economic engine for the Mid-Atlantic region. And by looking back and seeing that, that would make me feel really, really good. And I know that's going to happen. I know that's going to happen because we've put in place, one thing that you can gauge anywhere you go, because I've been to 4 or 5 different universities, and when you look back on what you did there, and if you look back and see that the programs that you put in place, that they're still there, that's positive. And I can look back at all the institutions that I've worked prior to coming here to Delaware State and still see programs that we put in place back then, and they're still using them. That's something that's remarkable. I started this journey 10 years ago when I was working, no, actually 17 years ago when I first started working in higher ed at an HBCU at North Carolina A&T State University. It was my first job at a HBCU. I was a director of admissions. And when I was there, we put some things in place that they didn't have. Fast forward 17 years later, Aaron Hill, you know Aaron, is now
a former boss.
is now the vice president for enrollment management at A&T. And I was talking to her today, and she said that people are still talking about the things that we did when I was there 17 years ago, programs, and they're still doing the same programs. So that makes you feel good right there, and it makes you feel that what you put in place is something that is sustainable, and that's what I would like to look back at here at Delaware State and see that. And I know I will.
Excellent. And 2 more minutes.
Okay.
2 more minutes after you got to go. And what we do is we do like a round robin. I ask you 3 questions. You tell me it's the first thing that pops in your head really quick. All right?
Okay.
First thing. When people say Dr. Harry Williams was blank to Delaware State University, what would it be?
Dr. Harry Williams was good for Delaware State.
Tell me, along your journey, what has been your greatest mistake?
The greatest mistake, you know, that's something you have to reflect on, because it's hard, because you make so many mistakes, but you can learn from your mistakes, and I think one mistake that I made was when I allowed myself to have my name float for some positions, and that create those rumors that you're talking about. Because when you get out there and people see that you talk to someone else, people get offended by that, you know, and it's like, well, what's wrong with us? Why is he? Are they better than us? And so I think that was a mistake, and I learned from it. And after I realized that it was not the right time, I wrote a letter to the whole entire community acknowledging it, and I shared it with the community. And I said, I went through this process, and the timing wasn't right. And then I realized that Delaware State, I still needed to be at Delaware State, and there was work to be done. And the community did not hold that against me, and I was able to continue the work that we were doing in a positive way.
Awesome. Last thing. Then the whole thing of the podcast is taking over the world. What does taking over your world mean to you?
I think taking over the world meaning that you are making a big impact on the world, and people are going to notice it, and people are going to pay attention to the work that you're doing in a positive way, and they will see it, and they will be able to promote it, and they will be excited about it, and they would want to learn from you, and they want to learn what you're doing. So what is he doing that is so special? You know, why, you know, you got to keep in mind, you're going to have some people out there going and say, well, how did he get that? You know, what's so special about him? But then they're going to look at it and say, I wish I could be doing something like that. So by your positive energy that you bring to the table, I mean, I love your promo. Your promo is so darn good. I mean, you just sitting in the middle of downtown Wilmington trying to get people to come to the show. I thought that was pretty cool. But I think it's going to make an impact, and it is going to go global, and you're going to make a lot of money. And when you make all that money, I want you to send some of it to the Thurgood Marshall Fund, okay? And then I'll send it to Delaware State, okay? You got that one, didn't you? I said,
good. Well,
good. It's good seeing you, though.
Good seeing you. Dr. Williams, I appreciate you. Everything that I speak on behalf of alumni, students, and Delaware residents, I appreciate your time here at Delaware State University. Appreciate everything you have done. And good luck with Thurgood Marshall, and they got a gem.
All right. Look forward to seeing you in Washington. I'm sure I'll see you walking
I'll run
down
into
the
you
street.
sometime.
Okay. Thanks, Blake.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Take it on the World podcast. This is Dr. Williams. Thanks, Doc.
Did that work?
That was awesome.